Hi, welcome to Mr. Dyer's Musings. I'm Mr. Dyer. Today I'm going to show you how to make an ice splice. A couple weeks ago when I put my Fid video together, several of you were asking for instructions on how to do an ice splice and a short splice, so that's what this video is for. If you're still interested, stay with me. I want to give a thank you to you for taking the time to watch this video, and I want to give a shout out to my patrons on Patreon. If that's something you're interested in and supporting this channel financially, check out my Patreon page, Mr. Dyer's Musings. So, there's not a whole lot of history that I can expand on besides what I already said in my last video with the splicing and the Fid. The ice splice is really useful when you want a solid loop. So this could be really handy for a block and tackle system. It could be very useful for making structures, maybe shelters and things like that for like ladders come to mind. During World War II, something that came together was called the commando rope, where you had a rope with two ice splices. On one end you have a toggle, and on the other you leave loose. And the idea is that the commandos would wrap this around themselves and wear it like a belt, and when they needed to deploy it, they could just take the toggle out, and many or several other commandos could join the ropes together and make a climbing rope like so. So if that's something you're interested in, then I suggest you do it. I did it when I was a scout, and I still have mine. So this is going on 30 years, I think. So what you're going to need is a rope that you want an ice splice on. You're going to want a knife, or something to cut your rope nice and clean. You don't want to deal with any of the sprayed stuff, so it's just better off having a nice clean end that you're going to work with. Something that's not necessary but is useful is either having some type of tape that you can wrap around the rope, or some string, and you can tie a constrictor knot, or what's commonly referred to as a clove hitch. So we're going to take about 4 inches string, give us plenty to work with, and we can always cut off the ends. Alright, now you want to see roughly where you want your ice splice to be. So I think about there. That gives me an opening of about 2 inches. And you want about 4 to 5 inches. If you're new to this, longer tends to be better. That way you can get used to it, and if you make some mistakes, the frayed end's not going to happen as much, and you can always cut off. So again, if this is your first ice splice, I would suggest going the longer side, maybe 6 inches. All right, so where you want your rope to connect and join in, that's where you're going to want to tie your constrictor knot, or take your electrical tape or other tape and wrap it around there. I'm going to move the camera and bring it over here so you can see what we're doing. Okay, so you have your rope now. You have your string or tape that's ready to go. You're going to pinch your rope together. You're going to find basically where you want the ropes to start to blend and braid in together. And I want it about there. So I'm going to take my rope, and this end is where we're going to tie our clove hitch. The whole point of the clove hitch is to try to stop the rope from fraying out when we're in our splicing process. If you're not familiar with how to tie a clove hitch, all you do is you make an X. The string that's on the bottom you're going to lift up the center, and this little tail is going to go straight through the center of the X. Like so. You want to dress it up. There you go. Now we're just going to trim that off. Okay, so once you have your constrictor knot and you unwind your 3 strands of rope, whenever you splice, you've got to keep it in mind that you're wanting to go against the grain of the rope. So since the rope is spiraling that way, we are going to go this way. I like to start with the top and work my way down. I want to open this up, push that through there, keep my rope twisted. Now we're started. And then comes the middle rope. So we are going to go over this one, and we're going to go under that one. If you can remember, over, under, over, under, over, under. It's really, really simple. Okay. Like so. And now, this rope is going to go over that one, which is the one that our last one went under. So it's going to go over that. It's going to go under that one. Just like so. And we're going to keep it twisted. And there we go. Then we're going to start to the top and do it all over again. So we're going to go over that, under that. Going to go over that, under that. The more that you keep it nice and tight and ordered, the easier it will be for you. Go over that, and under that. Just like so. All right, and you start at the top again. Okay, now that's really as far as that we need to go. We could keep doing it, but instead, what you can do is you can come back up to the top. And again, you're going to go over and under. That way they're all basically at the same level. And that'll dress it up nicely. And you can trim those tails off. And to make this look nice, you can take put this on the floor in your foot and roll it, or you can take your hands, roll it like so. And that kind of evens out the braiding. Now you have your eye splice. There you go. Before we continue, if you like this content so far, if this was useful for you, will you please go ahead and click the like button? That way other people can be made aware of this video and it can be shared with others and they can discover it. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. The next splice I'm going to show you how to do is called the short splice, and it's really useful for when you're joining 2 ropes together to make them one. And as you can see here, I took 1 rope and I wrapped it around itself to make a ring. This is a really handy way of making some things like a handle if you need, or what I tend to do when I'm at camp with my kids and they're bored, we don't have horseshoes, making rings like this and throwing them at sticks that's in the ground It's kind of like a, well, a ring toss, if you will. And it's a useful form of entertainment. So you're going to need 2 ropes that you want to join together. And again, you want to cut them so that they're flush, that there's no fray. You want to bring them up side by side of each other. And you want about 4 wraps on each side. So about 5 inches or so. Now you're going to, you don't have to, but I would suggest if you're starting out, again, either taking tape or taking string and tying the constrictor knot on both ends. That way by the time that you start twisting, it's not going to come undone and untwist any more than what you absolutely want it to. So I'm going to grab my string. Got 2 pieces. So another nice thing about doing that is that it gives you a visual of where your center should be. So again, I'm going to make an X, lift up the center, and tuck the tail underneath. Uh-oh. String is a little too short. So there's one. There we are. Okay. Cut off the tails. Not too close. Just enough so that they're not going to be in the way. There you go. Next one. Okay, now that you have that, go ahead and start twisting all the way down to your constrictor knot. Like so. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to marry the 2 ropes together. So all you have to do for that, it's rather simple really, is you're just going to make sure you mesh them together so that every other rope belongs to a different rope. As you can see, like here, it didn't. So I have to put that there. There we go. All right. Pull them tight against each other. All right. We're going to start with this side here. And we're going to go against the grain of the rope, so against the twist. So since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead, start this one right there. I'm going to turn it, And then you're just going in one direction, clockwise, counterclockwise. It's up to you. Just make sure that you're going against the grain. You want to make sure to keep your rope twisted too. And that, and this one goes here. Like so. Okay. Double check your work. All right, looks right. So now, again, going around, over, under, turning one way. It's going over and under. Turning, same direction, not to confuse yourself, over and under. Out of all the splices, I would say this one is probably the most difficult to get used to, because since you've unraveled so much of the rope to combine it, it tends to be a little bit looser, a little bit more difficult to keep twisted until you do the other end. I'm turning, now it's this one, over and under. Over, under. Over, under. Over, under. Okay, so now this one's done. We're going to worry about this one here. So same thing. You're going to go against the grain of the rope. Since this is going that way, you're going to splice this way. Okay, once you have your splicing done, as you can see, it's much larger. You can trim these off, and just like before, you can use your hands. Give it a nice roll to help even the splicing strands. You can use your foot. You're good to go. And this is now a stronger section of rope right there. It's actually much stronger than even this. That area right there. The rest of the rope should break before this breaks. You're good to go. Well, I hope you liked this video on how to splice a short splice and an ice splice. Both are extremely useful, especially if you tend to use natural fiber rope or multi-strand rope. I would suggest if you are going to use more strands than 3, like 5 or more, then start out with this, get down using this, and you can apply all those same practices to more stranded rope. but just having this basic knowledge will get you in the right direction of where you need to go. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, and if you like this stuff, then go ahead and click subscribe, because I do have a special giveaway once this channel gets up to 1,000 subscribers. If this is not your bag and you're just visiting, I appreciate the visit anyways. No hard feelings. But if you want to stick around, the drawing is going to be for a handmade chisel mount, or what's called a beetle, which is really useful if you go camping or if you're in the wood shop, just using tools, pounding in stakes and things like that. This is made for Ohio hardwood from me, something that I've harvested myself and I've turned myself. I'm also giving away a Fid. If you don't know what a Fid is, check out my Fid video, which is tied directly to this video on how to splice. I'll put it up there. I'm also giving away a reproduction 6-inch ruler. You might be wondering why a 6-inch ruler of all things. Well, if you're a woodworker, having a ruler is pretty handy. But on my earlier videos, I did a bunch of Civil War videos. One of those was a Civil War writing kit, which you should check out that video too, here. So that's what that's based off of as well. So if you like this stuff, if you like artifacts, learning history and skills, and you think this might be your bag, stick around with us. Go ahead and subscribe. Again, if it's not, I appreciate your visit. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Give a kiss and hug to your loved ones, and take care.